So it's a slow start to the week. I was watching a few gappers on the day, but as it happens, we have too many low float gappers pre-market. And usually when that happens, when we have too many gappers, that kind of distributes all the buying power in the small cap traders world. So that's why a lot of times when that happens, all the gappers are likely to fail. And my number one watch was on SAVA. I was looking too long on the washout, right? Because, it's the 16 million float. A parabolic daily chart setup. That's why I'm looking for a sell-off to buy the dips and to bounce it as per the watch list. The real levels I was waiting for was 850 and 870s, and we didn't get 870s till a lot later over here after 10:15. That's why on the front side here, before it hit my levels, I was small size, just scalping around, just making some small gains. In the small gains, they do add up. This took a lot longer than I had expected. I thought this stock was going to sell off right from 930s and then 870s early on. That's what I was planning for. When we never got there, then you just gotta trade and being reactive and not taking too big of a size. That's why I scaled in some long and adding in on the wash and selling into the pops. And then when it proved to be so weak and couldn't hold the low of the day, that's why I cut my long here and I accidentally shorted. That's why I covered really quick. And then right here is where I long the bounces even bigger, because this is one of the levels I was waiting for in case it cracks red. And also I was longing the wash and selling into all the rips. Didn't quite catch the top, but it was a really slow day and everything was just kind of grinding with low volume, so I didn't want to outstay my welcome. So a really small win on the day. There's nothing much else I was waiting for. It was the number one watch for me. I can only trade according to my plan, and when it didn't wash down to the levels I was waiting for, I just have to react with a lot smaller size. So it was actually quite a slow day for me. I didn't trade anything until like a lot later. I was watching APOP, but the borrow fees on that was just too expensive and I didn't want to spend that money because I'm cheap. It was like 50 cents a share and I'm not gonna do that. So I only took 3 trades today and they were all relatively small size and small scalps, just because nothing is what I really like. I longed some SDC on the morning panic sell off, longed it here 970 and scaled in some more around 965 and bounced it for 30-40 cents. Nothing big here. And I also took a starter long on the swing side, but it's tanking now after hours, but we'll see what happens. When you have a swing position, you need to let it work for a couple of days and reassess. And you start with building your positions, right? So this is a small starter size. We'll see how it goes. The next stock is DPW. So this one was a midday pump. I don't know who pumped it, but I saw it, a former runner, and also, a lot of bag holders on the daily chart, which you can see right here. So that's why I was scaling in short. I wish I caught the top here. I had the orders out, didn't get filled. I was waiting for it to go to 250s. 240s, 250s potentially. So I scaled in after it broke $2, scaled in short, just small size, nothing huge, because it's a midday short. It's not something I like to do. That's why I'm really quick to get out, as you can see. And I missed so much downside, but that's okay. And the other one is CEI. This one I'm so glad I only scalped it because it ran after hours to $4. But I was scalping here around, you can see I took some starter and adding some more when I see a lot of selling on the tape around 270s, and I was covering into 259s, 248, and the best cover was 242. And I just left it alone for the rest of the day. So on days like these, when there's no A+ setups and when there's nothing that I'm really that excited about, I size down and I'm really quick to take my profit. So we're gonna start with the loser on the day first, MTP. So this one, I was long biased on this, and I was started loaning pre-market, as you can see right here, because I saw a lot of room on the daily chart. Risk reward wise, these kind of penny stocks that once it goes from 70 cents to $1 and breaks and holds $1, a lot of times we see this kind of stock going crazy on the day. Something we see ASLN and a few other stocks like FCEL. So that's kind of like the idea I had on the stock. And if it breaks and holds a $120 level, we can go to 170 and potentially, 190 and even $2. But, it didn't work out. Because you can see, I started loaning pre-market. Very small size. I was ready to add on the dips. I was risking this $1.20 mark. This is a starter size and added in some more. And once it breaks below this pivot line that I have drawn beforehand and reclaims really strongly with this kind of volume, that's why I added to even bigger size. But again, it didn't work out. This breakout failed. As you can see, I gave it some time and I just start cutting after it broke below this VWAP because it couldn't break above the pre-market highs and it couldn't squeeze even with this kind of volume which I was watching. So I had to cut this one for a loss, and eventually the stock continued selling off for the rest of the day. So that's a loser on the day. But the other better trade was WAFU. I shorted this one with trade 0, which I don't have open right now, but I have the screenshot. But basically, I shorted this, nothing to full size, but a decent size to get some okay profit, but nothing huge, just because the borrow fees are so expensive at trade 0. I started shorting around the spike towards the pre-market highs. I was looking forward to adding a little bit more, but I wanted to see, to be safe and just to prevent myself from adding too big on a stock that's going crazy all the way to, as you can see, this one went all the way to $5 and $6 in November. So I want to size accordingly, and I want to make sure that it's confirmed that it cannot reclaim key levels before I size in. So I was really conservative with my ads here. I never got to full size even with this ad here. So at the end, it turned out to be a small winner. Shorted here around 360s, covered some here, covered some more here, and re-added some on this weakness, and covered some more here. So I was actually pretty happy with my patience. With this one, the last cover was around here, and I was all out by this point. So that was a nice little winner on the day. This week has been pretty choppy in terms of the follow through, and a lot of stocks just pop and drop, and we had a lot of midday pumps. So I gotta be careful and gotta be nimble with kind of trades I take, the sizing I take, and kind of need to nail and bail unless the setup presents otherwise, like WAFU. So the stock that caught many people off guard today, I'm sure, was AGTC. First of all, this stock was up on some pretty fluffy news. It's reporting a 6-month data from its ongoing phase 1.5 clinical trial in one of its drugs. It's a eyesight related drug. So that's pretty fluff news, and also I believe they have outstanding S3, but the fact is that the stock was easy to borrow. So I think that's the one factor that made it squeeze a lot higher. And the stock was also holding its daily gap around this $620 level. So, technically speaking, it has a lot of room to go. And I think that's why the new buyers piled on and the shorts were getting squeezed left and right because it's easy to borrow everywhere else. So how I traded this is I had a small wing on it, and I took a loss on it on the short side. So let's talk about it. So in the morning, when I saw that it was starting to hold the 620s level once, twice, and the third time before the market opened. So that's why I was thinking, okay, if we hold this 620s daily gap level, you can see right here, there's a visual gap on the daily. It's holding this level. If we hold and we don't break down, we have room to go to $7, $7.50, and eventually even higher, right? And while it didn't work right away at the open, you can see I took some long here, really small size, because I want to see it break and hold the $7 area. When it proves to be a lot of selling around that level and it couldn't hold, that's why I took my profit long. So I wasn't short here. I wish I can say, oh, I was short here. No, I wasn't short here. This is a long trade here. And I just kind of left it alone because, this selling wasn't that accelerated for me to confirm a short until it breaks down the 620s level. And that's why I went short here. I went short here because, the same technical analysis, if it breaks down the 620s daily level, has room to gap fill on the downside to $5.50s, $5. That's why I took a short here. And my thesis was that if it actually breaks down that support daily level, it's gonna flush quickly. And when it starts holding up and reclaiming this level, that's why I was like, you know what? No, I'm okay taking this loss. It's okay. It's a small loss. It's okay. You've seen in my past recap videos, I mentioned that I don't like to flip the other side. If I was long before, when I flip short, I'm usually a lot smaller size. And vice versa, if I went short before in the morning, and if I want to go long in the afternoon, it's a much smaller size. So that allows me to not make any stupid mistakes, and the small size allows me to cut quickly if I'm wrong. And that's why I was able to cut so quickly, take this loss and move on and go trade other things. There's no point being stubborn and being squeezed all the way like, I'm sure many people did today, because first of all, it's easy to borrow, and also, daily gap, it's up too much, right? And the news was just not that great. But you gotta respect the chart, respect the price action, and get out if you're wrong. So that's why I avoided trading this all the way in the afternoon, because I already longed in the morning and shorted and gave back some profit. I don't want to go back and make more mistakes again. So even though I took a loss on the second trade and gave back a lot of profit, I'm actually really happy with how I stuck to my plan and stuck to my discipline. And I was able to cut the short when I recognized I was wrong quickly. So the next trade, SNCA. So this one was a pretty decent pre-market short. And I wish I held longer, of course. But when it starts holding up pre-market level and I just kind of start watching other stock, and I was waiting for a pop, but it never popped. It just kind of dumped right at the open. But this stock, SNCA, used to be CUR. So a lot of these trashy penny stock companies, they'll just change the ticker and thinking that, oh, people will forget what our former name was like, but nah, it's a CUR. It was a former junk stock, and that's why this gap up failed. So nice little short here from 186s and all the way down to 170 and 150s. And of course, it went all the way lower without me. But a small win is still a win. This one, okay, this is probably the worst trade on the day, even though it's a small loss. But I was looking for a dip buy around this 970s level because there's some support right here. 970s level, and higher than that, there's some small support around this 1020s area. So I was waiting for, after it breaks down the 1020s, I was waiting for this area to add. So I started in small, and this wick literally just touched 976 and just took off. And that's where I was thinking, oh, you know what, I want to wait a little bit longer to add because I want to add to full size. I just had a starter small size on. And when it popped so quickly and I was watching, I think, trading AGTC, I completely missed this and I didn't take my profit because that was a nice little 40-cent pop. But, I turned around, I looked at it, and it's back at $10, and I should have just cut it, man. Like, seriously. And then, at the end, I cut it when it finally flushed down when it was so heavy and turned a nice little winner to a nice little loser. So I guess I'm the loser on the day here because this was not a good trade. Even though it's a small loss on a starter size, I should have taken that profit, man. So this week has been extremely choppy. So I have to be really, really patient when I'm trading and be careful with my sizing. And sometimes I get a little bit too patient, as you can see here on CLVS. But still happy to end the day with a small green. And let's see what tomorrow brings.